PitchCraft, news from the Battlefront. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa. I'm the Director of Marketing at IdeaPros, and I have Fred Cary, who is CEO of IdeaPros. Hello, Fred.
Hello. How are you? How's everybody?
I'm wonderful, and I'm excited because you were just at an event that you're going to talk to us about, but you're right there in the pitching world. Tell us about your most recent, well, I'll just let you take the floor, and I'm going to go over here and make sure that everything's connected right now.
Oh, good. Hey,
Isn't
everybody.
that great?
Do we have everybody connected? We all live?
It looks like it's live. It just is giving me warnings about a new update, so that's okay. Hopefully y'all can hear us. Just let me know in the chat.
Having new updates in the middle of a show is always a great thing
Always.
to deal with. So, I was up Tuesday and Wednesday in Silicon Valley with 3 of our partners. We were also up there a month ago with 4 other partners, and I was there a month earlier for the first time. And now we have a regular thing. Silicon Valley is impressed with what we're putting out and the partners that we're putting forth. And so I think that and there's Grunt who was there last month. So this month, I just want us to start focusing on what we're all going to need, whether you're a partner or whether you're somebody coming in to listen and to watch, and that is capital. One of the things that every single startup has to have, and most of us don't know how to go get it or don't know how to go get it the right way. And we're going to use an example of these 3 projects that we took up there. 3 people, very diverse products, very diverse offerings. 2 of them not really technology plays that Silicon Valley loves to look at. And yet, when we got up there and when we pitched in front of over 50 VCs, it was pretty astounding. And we did the same a month earlier. We did a really great job a month earlier. This time on the 28th, I think that we hit it out of the park. And of the 3 companies that pitched up there, all of them are having follow-up conversations with some venture capital people. And a couple of really big VCs had some pretty incredible things to say about what we did. So I want to focus on storytelling, pitching the right way, and making it part of the process that if you're a partner of mine, you get for free. If you're not, there's an opportunity for you to come in and learn anyway, and we're going to show you how to do that a little bit later on in the show. But the most important thing you can do is know how to go get capital, because that's going to be the catalyst that you need to be able to grow your company.
Perfect. Well, Fred, I am here with you, so if you want me to show something in particular, I can.
Awesome. Well, why don't we start talking about the 3 companies, then maybe we can focus on them one at a time. You can put up their website, ads, whatever you have of all of them. I know I always tell you do 57 things at the last second.
Yes.
Okay. This is Olive and Coop. And we spent 2 days working together before we presented. And we kept hammering in on the story. And Olive and Coop is an app that really connects elder people with young folks. And why? Because there's overwhelming evidence that the older generation, they want to stay home. That's where all their memories are. And us as the transitional parents, although I'm getting on the old side now, as the traditional parents, we're worried about them. We're worried about memory loss. We're worried about whether they're taking care of themselves. We're worried just about their frailty. How do I move furniture? How do I make sure I'm getting all my meals on time? And we were tempted to put people into nursing homes or assisted care facilities. But if you look at the statistics, the day after you put somebody in something like that, you've just taken 4 years off of their life. And it's crazy. And so that's why over 90% of people who are older want to stay home, want to stay in place, want to be where all their memories are. And on the opposite side of that spectrum, while our couple who are the founders of Olive and Coop, while they were researching this, they found out what we all know, that rents are crazy. The younger generation can't afford to live on their own anywhere. They'll have to get 3, 4, 5 roommates in a 1-bedroom apartment to make rents meet. Here in San Diego, for $3,000, you can hardly get anything. And that's a lot of money for somebody who's making $20 an hour. Do the math, it doesn't work out, or even 30, or people who are in college. And so we found a way to combine the two spectrum of people and put young people for very reduced rents into homes of older people who can use help around the house, just some company, whereas the younger person has a built-in grandma or grandfather. And we've done testing. It's worked out really, really great. And so you would think that with all these tech companies coming up into Silicon Valley and presenting every single day up there with the hundreds, thousands of pitch decks that people get, and with the 250 people from around the world that are startups that go to that event, you would think that little projects like ours aren't going to stand out. We're not creating the next artificial intelligence tool. We're not doing things that, from a technology standpoint, except for one of our projects we'll talk about in a minute, are going to be really, really powerful. And yet the audience loved it. The VCs loved it. And they loved it because we told stories. We didn't just have a pitch deck. We told the stories. And you can imagine very sophisticated CEOs, founders go up in front of venture capital guys and girls and all day long say, this is the problem, this is my solution, this is how we do it, this is the management team, this is the money we need, and this is what we're going to do with that money. All of them the same way. Can you imagine sitting there hearing that over and over again? No matter how compelling the story is, you're losing people's attention. And that's why we teach telling a story when you're doing your pitch deck. And when Olive and Coop first came up, she came up to the stand and looked at all the venture capital folks. And her first words were, let me tell you about the day that I thought my father died. Mm. Who's not going to listen to that next sentence, right? And she told the story about the maid having found him. 2 days he was laying on the kitchen floor and rushing him to ICU, and the recovery that he had to go through. And even when he was in his recovery at their home, he was still bitching and moaning about getting back to his home when he was still recovering. I want to be home. This is where I'm used to living. And it was very, very powerful. And then we showed some stories of the younger people in some of our test cases, talking about how I found another grandmother. And the closest place I could find to live to my college that I could afford was 35 miles away. And now I'm living half a block away. And so it was very, very compelling. And
I have an email and a video if you wanted to show those.
Yeah, and we got accolades from all three of the presenters. But check this out. Let's do the video first. And it's just a little 22-second clip that I happen to be in the audience filming. Don't play it yet, though.
Okay.
I got to tee it up. The guy that you're going to hear talking, this is right after the presentation, 6-minute presentation. Right after the presentation, this is one of the most powerful venture capital people in Silicon Valley, who was one of the judges, one of the VCs looking at deals. This is what he had to say about our little company.
Okay. Let's see if it cooperates. Hopefully you can hear it.
Turn the volume all the way up.
Can you hear it?
Your volume's all the way off.
My volumes?
So yes, I saw you. I saw the volume knob go all the way down on your video.
It's on. It's on.
Start it over.
Okay. Starting over.
See the volume? Go to the volume.
He's like, it's up. Okay. It's up. It's maxed out.
Go.
Okay. Here you go.
All right. First, I'd like to compliment you.
That's on me.
One of the best presentations I've seen in a while.
Thank you.
I love storytelling. I'm sorry to hear about your dad, but you guys did a great job, and you're an example for it. My question is as follows.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure it was loud enough for anybody to hear. It wasn't very loud
It's
at
as
all.
maxed out as I can get it.
Okay,
But he did say he enjoyed the storytelling.
but what he said was, this is one of the best presentations I've heard in a while. And then at the end of that, when he said they did a great job, he turned to the audience and told them, this is how you should pitch. And these are people that they didn't even pitch to family and friends yet. The very first time that they're doing it with all these people. By the way, the startups that are going there to get capital, these folks are just looking for pre-seed money, $500,000, million max. There's people up there looking for 10 million, 20 million, seasoned companies that are growing. And this guy, very powerful, one of the best presentations he's heard in a long time. After that, a couple of VCs started contacting them. And here's an email that just came in this morning on one of them that, okay, Robin and her husband gave the best presentation yesterday, and it was great talking to her afterwards. I'll submit the pitch deck tomorrow, and hopefully Leonara can schedule Olive and Coop ASAP. That's another heavy-duty venture capital firm talking about our little startups and how powerful we are in the most powerful place in the world for startup businesses and entrepreneurs. So that's one. Let's talk about another one.
Identify.
Sure.
All right. I'm going to share so you guys can see that website too. There you go.
Okay, so with Identify, the problem that I had with Identify is the first application that we have for it. It's really powerful. It's basically, it's a clear veneer that goes over one of your back molars, and it will let people know who you are. The problem when our partner came to us is that it was a passive device, which means it can't broadcast anything. All it could do is when you're nearby, if you're looking for a particular person and they're 20 feet away from you, you'll be able to recognize who they are from this RFID tag. So we spent 2 years, time when we get people complaining a lot, we spent 2 years developing a technology that can be used in many, many different ways. So instead of starting with this piece, which is just one thing of what we do, I had him start storytelling, right? And he started talking about his passion for trying to find a solution for all these missing kids. Came from 40 years of dentistry, understanding how he could place things that would be semi-permanent, that wouldn't get lost, but we didn't have a good solution because, as I said, it's passive. So we spent 2 years building something. And many of you probably have the Apple tags. What are they? This big around?
Yeah.
We ended up building a technology that is 1% the size of an Apple tag that does everything the Apple tag does except for one thing. It doesn't need to be recharged. We found a way to use ambient Bluetooth technology that's all around every one of us right now. There are Bluetooth waves around us, and this nano processor requires such a low amount of energy that it recharges itself just from the ambient Bluetooth technology. So it doesn't give out any Bluetooth waves that are going to harm anybody. It solves that problem, and it also is one of those perpetual motion devices that we've been looking for all our lives and throughout history. Really,
I already volunteered to be one of the first people to wear this. So my family always wants to know where I am.
And sometimes I do too.
It is like, where's Tessa?
And so we started his conversation talking about the fact that I went on this mission. I have this product that we've developed, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. And so his first slide did not start with this particular product. His first slide, that was just the name of the company, started with him saying, we went on this 2-year journey, 3-year journey, really it's been. We went on this 3-year journey, and accidentally we came up with something that has 10,000 uses. And it's 1% the size of an Apple tag, as I said. It's a micro transmitter. It does everything the tag does, except it never needs to be recharged. And everybody in the venture community stopped where they were, and they focused on that instead of, if we just went up and told the problem and the solution, it would be, hey, all these kids get lost every year, and we created this technology that goes on a tooth and you can find those kids. Right? That's not the story. The story in this particular case was, we have invented something that is a major evolution in technology that can have 10,000 applications. And oh, by the way, this is the first way we're deploying it. So finding out the right story to tell to keep your audience, right? The first one was a very personal story, remembering the day I thought my dad died. And this one was a global story, accidentally running into something that literally can change the world. And still telling stories. After this one, we had somebody come up to us, a venture capital guy come up to us and say, this could be $1 trillion company. So again, first time presenting, 40-year dentist, retired, never been on stage. Certainly presenting to one VC one-on-one is hard enough. Presenting to 50 VCs and 250 to 300 people in the audience of fellow startups is daunting, and they blew them away as well. And
you had one more with you on this trip as well, right?
I did, and just to show how different everything is, the last one we had is Bearded Booch. You want to pull that up?
Booch. I have the packaging for Bearded Booch.
Okay, so Bearded Booch is a hard kombucha, and it is built from the concept. This guy is a trainer and has 8 facilities in Arizona, and he saw that despite all the workouts and everything, a lot of guys still had man boobs and bellies, which we call beer bellies, and started doing research and found out that there's a estrogen that's created from the hops in beer, and that's responsible for heavy levels of estrogen in guys. So he set out to create a hard kombucha. And number one, kombucha is a word that guys don't relate to, and none of us can spell. And number two, kombucha is a fermented green tea, so it has this kind of vinegar taste. So the mission was find out how we can make this and make it so it tastes good. It tastes like beer, and it doesn't have the estrogen. And this is another project which took 3.5 years to do it. We now have it. We now have the final formula, and it doesn't taste anything like beer. It's got 50% more alcohol than beer does. Not only does it not have estrogen, but I want you to stop where the bra is.
The bras.
Yeah, I want to zoom in on that part of it, because it's part of our story. And not only does it not have estrogen, but it increases testosterone. And so, can you zoom in on the
I am trying.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, and there's another one below with just one bra, but those are all bras in a trash can. And so our whole campaign, our whole marketing for Bearded Booch is, and if you look at any other, by the way, there's 8 other hard kombucha products, and each of them, it's like June something and June what? June Shine, and they're purple or pink and very feminine oriented products. This is hardcore guy. We're going to replace the beer. All of our commercials and our Instagram pages are going to be, guys in a bar wearing bras, drinking beer, and our kombucha dude, who's really big, rugged guy, not our founder, who also is himself, but our logo motto guy. I don't know if you have him. You probably don't have him, but manly man, if you will. Which guy?
There. See, no man boobs. That's a little.
Yeah, no man boobs. Yeah, so the whole campaign is going to be really tongue in cheek, making fun of things in a way that, in fact, part of his pitch, and I'm going to tell you, his story when he started, but part of his pitch was talking about the estrogen, and he looked out at the audience, and this is engaging people. This is another thing we don't do in our pitch decks. He looked out at 300 people, said, how many guys out there now after this want to go have a glass of beer? And nobody raised their hand. And he said, that's what I thought, right? So he's telling a story the whole time, but he started his story like this, because it's really important. All of you have dreams. All of you have desires. You're all here because you woke up many, many nights thinking about, what am I going to do? I have this thing that's in my head every day. I know I can do this. And so those dreams and desires and the catalyst for starting your own thing needs to be in your story. And he started like this. When I turned 18, we were at the height of war in Iraq. Our soldiers were in harm's way, and I decided I needed to go do my part. And when I was 18 and 3 days old, I registered for the Army. And my aunt hated me. My parents thought I was out of my mind, but I went into training, and I ended up just where they told me I was going to be, in Iraq. And I had over 100 missions. And my very last mission, we were escorting 25 big tankers full of fuel up to Baghdad from Kuwait. And we got ambushed by a couple of platoons. There's fires everywhere. It was like Star Wars, all these tracers. It was a mess. And I thought that was going to be my last day. As we started working our way through, the last truck in the convoy ran over a landmine and blew up. And I knew there was a soldier in there. And so I got out and I went back, and I was able to get him out. And a week later, we were in the US. And when I thought of that, I thought of health, and I thought of consciousness, and I thought of being in good shape. And I started in the gym business, but then I got a degree in nutrition, and I really wanted to help people have healthier lives and be in better shape. And that's why I started Bearded Booch, right? So there's a whole story behind how this thing started. He didn't just get up and say, hey, look, guys, men can get boobs from estrogen, and estrogen's in beer, and I created a hard kombucha. That's a pretty boring story. But when you build everything around it and then engage the audience with how many of you are going to have a beer now you know you're hitting the mark. And investors are human beings. I know sometimes we don't think so. But the reality is, what does every human have in common? We want to hear a story. We want to be engaged. We want to know what's in the next chapter, right? A good story. I'm sure many of you have looked at your clock and all of a sudden it's 3 a.m. because you're reading this book you can't put down. If your pitch deck isn't pulling that off, then you're not going to engage the audience that you really need. And this audience is different because this audience has the checkbook that you need. And so we actually teach this, as I said at the beginning, we teach this for all of our partners. And we also have a free 2-hour workshop that we run every month now. I want to do it more often, at least twice a month. But right now we do it once a month. Oh, there it is. Tessa, God, I love you. You're so amazing.
Yeah. Pitch.ideapros.com.
If you go to pitch.ideapros.com, you can sign up for it. It's March 7th, the next one, and it's 4 p.m. Pacific. It lasts a couple of hours, and I'm going to really teach you how to take what you have, your vision, your pitch, even if you don't have one word written yet, and how to create something really, really powerful. So I look forward to seeing you guys there.
Yeah. I'm just going to go over to, I know we've had quite a few people that have participated that are in our chat. I know, like you said, Grant went and did some presenting too just recently. But if you have what I love seeing is that partners come multiple times. Yeah. And like Fred said, it's not just limited to our partners. So take Fred up on this offer while he's doing it, because he's amazing. He helps you to really fine tune what you're going to talk about, how you capture with that storytelling and how you present the ideas too. And I love one thing you say in this, and that's that everything has to have a number, because this is a tool for investors. And a lot of people are telling a story in their back history and they forget all of the parts that they really need to hear. So you have to come. If you are thinking about presenting or raising money for your business, come and practice with us. You get to peer practice in small groups. You also get Fred's feedback on your specific pitch. It's just invaluable. And it's free.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're really focused on the story right now, but once you have them hooked, then you need to know your numbers, and we're going to talk about that as well. And it's called PitchCraft, which I think is a brilliant name because it's like witchcraft, PitchCraft.
I was on the fence about it, but it's grown on me.
PitchCraft, awesome. Hey, give me a thumbs up if you like it. I'm the one that did it. Oh, we got somebody over here. There you go. We got a couple of thumbs over here.
Sophia's giving some extra thumbs up. I love it.
Yeah. So good. You're coming back, Martin. What I should say about this thing is it's not really scripted. We have slides, but I say different things every single time. I know one of you folks have been there 3 times.
Actually, Von Dern, yes. Christine has come 3 times, and I'm sure she's going to be going with you to pitch to Palo Alto soon.
Yeah, and what she said was every time I learn something new. So you can't get enough. It's really, it changes the way you think, and you can't change the way you think overnight. So even attending multiple times is a good thing. That's all I got.
That's it. Well, thank you, Fred. That was super. I'm excited for these partners too. And hey, Genetic Joy, which is Clarice, Dr. Clarice, really wants to get the mobile tracking device. Yeah, absolutely. Me too.
That's why we can keep an eye on you, Clarice. And by the way, some quick applications of that, not just for kids, but there's military applications instead of the dog tags and being able to really know where your soldiers are or whatever, especially in harm's way. There may be corporate applications as well that don't involve a veneer at all. It could be things like your equipment, your computers, your phones, right? Tracking where all your assets are. So it's not just this. So we went from something that's just this into something that has 10,000 applications. And that's why sometimes when some of our partners get pissed that things take so long and that we keep changing our minds about things, we're changing just like any entrepreneur should change. You look at the road ahead, and all of a sudden, if there's this sharp left turn that you didn't notice but can take you down a better road, you better put on your blinker and make the turn.
I love it. I also want it for my dogs too. That makes a big difference.
As well. Another application.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Fred. I'm going to let you get back to prepping pitches for people.
Did you today?
Thank you. And everyone, thank you so much for being here. I see Sage, so Sean Reed and Kelly over at Sage Scheduler. Just wanted to put that up for y'all. So if you haven't already signed up to get notifications about Sage Scheduler and when it launches, definitely go check it out. I see you, Mark, over there. I think you're coming. I think you are trying to come to the next PitchCraft. So make sure you sign up. March 7th is the next PitchCraft, and you can just go ahead and sign up and get tickets directly to it. You don't have to meet with us ahead of time. We just take out that extra step, but make sure you come, be committed, and show up and be ready to pitch, because you will get the most from it if you can clear your schedule and actually attend and participate, because it is huge. Oh, hey, James. Yes. Oh, thank you. Oh, he helped PitchCraft TM. He put TM for us, Fred. That's awesome.
Yeah, James, somebody believes in my name.
Right. It is a great workshop. I just am blessed to be able to sit and get this information from Fred on a regular basis. So we'll see you all next week. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified when we go live each Friday at noon Pacific time. Thank you. Bye, Fred. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.